Over the years, LEGO has built just about everything, from cities, to castles, to pirate ships, even spaceships. But did you know they've also tackled some of the biggest sports in the world? From slam dunks to slap shots, today we're looking at LEGO's history with sports sets, and we're going to build some cool MOCs too. Let's jump into it. Hello and welcome to the I Bricked It Up YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, I'm glad you're here. If you've been here before, I'm glad you're back. In 2003, LEGO launched one of its most innovative sports themes, LEGO Basketball. These sets featured specialized minifigures with spring-loaded legs that could actually shoot the ball. They even teamed up with the NBA, releasing sets with real NBA players like Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, and Tim Duncan. I even found a couple of the minifigs from this series going through my old LEGO sets. One of the standout sets for me is set 3432 NBA Challenge, a full-on LEGO basketball court where you could flick your players into action. And now for the first mock of the video, I wanted to make an NBA logo. It was actually pretty challenging in order to get the shape of the player on the logo correct, but I think I did pretty good. I used a lot of snot techniques, clips, bars, sideways building, and plenty of slope pieces in order to get it, and I think it turned out great. And I think this would look really good on somebody's desk, a wall, or even as a key holder. You could even build a little box on the back of it and make it into a pencil holder if you'd like. If you want to build this yourself, a link to the instructions will be in the description below. Funny story, I actually have met Shaq a couple times, which isn't as unusual as you would think. Any resident of Atlanta for even like 2 weeks will probably run into Shaq a lot. He's a really great guy. Really nice. I worked at a guitar store, and there was this girl and her dad who used to come in all the time and she would just stare at the guitar wall. And one day Shaq came in, saw her staring at the guitars, and asked her if there was any guitar on that wall that she would want. Which one would it be? It was a 2016, I think, Seafoam Green Les Paul Classic. After that, he looked over at the guitar salespeople and said, grab the case. He even bought another guitar for her dad. A lot of musicians and actors would come through that guitar store pretty often, and Shaq was easily the most approachable and just the nicest guy. He's also much taller than he looks on TV. Next up is hockey. Like basketball in 2003, LEGO decided to go all in on the sports theme. The first couple of sets were, well, interesting to say the least. After a rocky start, LEGO came back with a more traditional approach in set number 3578, NHL Championship Challenge. But sadly, it was a little too late, and the LEGO hockey theme ended, making it the shortest sub-theme in the series.
Rest in
Even though LEGO stopped making hockey sets in the sports series in 2004, they did release a hockey player in the collectible minifig series in 2011, this time with an actual hockey stick. In the 2004 version, they didn't have hockey sticks, they actually just used bars, and the platform that they stood on was used to actually pass the puck back and forth. Funnily enough, from what I can tell, the sport of hockey has actually appeared in more regular LEGO City and Friends sets than any other sport, even though they discontinued the actual sports theme years ago. Now for the mock I made, I wanted to continue the theme of home decor, something you could put up on a wall or something like that. So I made it a key holder again, but instead of making the logo, I thought it would be cool to make like a hockey puck with the glove holding the stick coming out of it. I thought that would look pretty neat, and I think it turned out pretty good. There's not a lot of super tricky techniques on this one. It was pretty straightforward, but sometimes that's all you need. The puck uses a combination of snot building and sloped pieces. The stick is basically just some plates stacked on top of each other with a hinge. And the glove is a little tricky, but nothing too crazy. Again, if you do want to build it, a link for the instructions is in the description. And if you do build it, I'd love to see how it turns out. It'd be cool if you customized the glove to be your favorite team or something like that. If you couldn't tell already, being from the South, we don't really have a huge connection to hockey. But the local team growing up had a funny name. It was the Macon Whoopie, which was always silly. I didn't get it when I was young, but when I got older, I thought it was kind of funny. Now let's talk about LEGO's football sets. No, not that football. I'm talking about the real football. You know.
Foosball.
This is it. A single minifig from Series 8 of the collectible minifig series that was released in 2012. Thanks, LEGO. Very cool. Honestly, it feels a little bit petty. I know that soccer is the original football and everything, but American football is a huge game, and I feel like there would be a pretty big market for LEGO football sets, but maybe it's a licensing thing or something like that. Either way, feels wrong. So in order to make up for that, for the mock, I decided to go all out. Again, I wanted to make something that would be kind of a display piece that could go on a wall or a desk or something along those lines. So I made the classic pigskin with lots and lots of cool techniques, lots of snot building, lots of brackets, lots of offset building, lots of everything, really. It was pretty tough to actually design, but I think it came together really, really well. It's probably my favorite in the whole video. So if you're a football fan, you can put this up and, roll Tide or whatever. It's funny, every time I hear Roll Tide now, I think of a Shane Gillis bit that he did. It's really funny, but wildly inappropriate. If you're of an appropriate age, I think he did it in Austin. It's on YouTube. Definitely check it out. Now back to the mock. I spent a lot of time designing this, but I ran out of reddish-brown slope pieces, so I had to use the dark brown pieces instead, but I think it turned out really good. It gives it a kind of rugged look. But overall, I'm really happy with the shaping. But I wanted to add something else, so I ended up making a goal post and sticking it on there too. Now this would be really good to hang keys or even clothes or coats or something like that, but if you're going to hang heavier items on it, you might want to do the unthinkable and use a little bit of super glue. And finally, baseball. Like football, LEGO never made an official theme for the sport. There are, however, 2 minifigs that were released in the collectible minifig series, and LEGO has released some promotional sets for the Boston Red Sox and the San Francisco Giants. If I had to guess, LEGO not making a baseball or a football theme is probably a lot less to do with a deep-seated hatred for America and more just a kind of practicality of making these sports into a LEGO game. Like just thinking of the way the other LEGO games work, it doesn't really allow for catching very well, and both baseball and football have a lot of catching involved. So that's probably the reason they never made official themes for those. Does that sound reasonable, or do you think it was more nefarious? Let me know down in the comments what you think. For the mock, I think that the MLB logo is just iconic, and I wanted to do a similar thing that I did with the NBA logo and do the silhouette of the player. The frame is very similar, but it's a stud wider, and I used lots of tricky techniques on this one. As you can see, lots of clips, lots of brackets, lots of modified bricks, things connecting in unusual ways. The end result ended up coming out really good. I'm really happy with the way this one turned out. All of these were a lot of fun to design, and especially a lot of fun to build. So where does LEGO Sports stand today? While the dedicated LEGO Sports theme faded out in the mid-2000s, LEGO still occasionally releases sports-related sets like the table football set in 2022 and the huge soccer stadium sets. If you grew up with these, which LEGO sport was your favorite? And which sport would you like them to do? I think golf would be a pretty cool one for them to try. Like I said earlier in the video, instructions are going to be linked in the description below. I'm going to upload them to both my Rubricable and my Patreon page. So if you do want to build them yourself, make sure you check out the links and let me know how they turned out. But really, thank you so much for watching, and a big thank you to my Patreon supporters, especially Stan, Zach, Wes, and Jim. I'll see you on the next one. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. I got more videos coming, and definitely leave me a comment with what you thought, what your favorite build was, and what you want to see next. Also, I know you'll like these videos too, so make sure you check them out.